Okay, let's call the minute to order. It is, well, my clock says 4:27.
Oh, it's 4:31 on mine, yeah.
And this one says 4:28, so. It's 4:30. What, let's say is close to 4:30. Thank you. All right, so approval of the minutes from the meeting on September 12th, and I am guilty, I did not read them, so.
I did read them and I approved the minutes.
Don't you have to make a motion?
I thought you did. I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Anybody wants to second?
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Minutes approved. New business. Regarding the agenda, the light up the way is not here. Is it too late to add it, even if it's just for discussion?
We can discuss that under the liaison report.
Yeah, we cannot make any decision at this point.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
We'll be inviting them. We've invited them to the January meeting.
Oh, I thought they were coming now.
No, not to this one.
I see. And they accepted?
No, not yet.
Okay. All right, new business. Center City Parkway Sculpture Project. Lynn took notes, but the three of us, Patricia and I and Lynn, were present. There were two members from the city, two superintendents, one maintenance, and the other.
The other should have been, I believe, Nick Gillen from Streets.
No.
It was Wayne, Nick, and Ruben.
Ruben, and yeah. And so it was really helpful. They gave us the kind of the technical things that we need to consider, and I'm going to let Patricia and then Lynn, and then I'll wrap up whatever you took minutes. So you want to add?
Yeah, we went over a lot of the challenges that it would, that putting the sculptures in Center City would pose. And a lot of them, like, electrical in some spaces, no water, effect on reclaimed water, how they're divoted to go to the storm drains, things like that. So I think we decided that we need to call a meeting with some people from the city, right, and have them participate on the committee. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot later. So.
That was very good. Believe what I got from that was that we need to go and kind of choose places that we think will work, and then they can tell us why they will or won't work. And then choosing the object that'll go in there, the art that'll go in there, will be another challenge, because some of them can be attractive nuisances because they take your eye. That what is it, 65 or 70? You can go in that Center City, 65. So, so we have to take all those things into consideration when we're starting to choose some sites. And then with what we were thinking would be mostly what we were thinking was the art that was not chosen for, that was already approved for the Palomar Heights. So, and there are some challenges there too because of the lighting and all. But that's about, I think you covered it real well.
Yeah.
One thing we found out is, for example, there's no electricity from north of El Norte. It was electricity, right?
Right. Yep.
So then that would pose a challenge if we put anything from there north.
And south of Felicita.
And south of Felicita too? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We invited on the spot, and it worked really well. We invited Ruben Luna, who does all the graphics and for the city, And he was fabulous. I mean, and so we invited him immediately to form part of the committee, and he agreed. So he's in, and he can actually do projections and show us things almost the way 3D. It would look in a 3D. And
Artist himself.
yeah, and he's an artist himself. We have the card. I brought a proposal or an idea, I should say. Well, I don't know how would you describe it. It was a maquette almost, right? Of an idea on how we could interrupt the design that is there. In the medium right now is grass, and so it's greens, grass and bushes. And I thought, how could we tell the audience that is moving that an art piece is coming? And so I proposed maybe using rocks and textures on the ground, so you remove the grass, and you produce an area where the art piece would be in the center. And so every time they see rocks coming up and a change of texture and that, they know an art piece is coming. And so, and they were okay with it, I think, right?
Yes, other than the challenges of electricity and
Yeah.
just deciding what it would be. So I think we have to take some more site.
Oh, yeah, this we just day one.
Yeah.
But not, yeah, we're not near to be choosing even anything. But it was really productive, and I think we will meet again maybe in January, you know? Well, wait, do we have a PAC meeting on January, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, our next meeting is in January.
Okay, maybe before that, we'll see. Okay, so that's from that committee.
So you had asked that I bring the video from Palomar Heights so that we could show the new commissioners some of the pieces that we're considering for this?
Yeah.
You know, I show it, but it was so bad that I think it would be productive. Yeah, and mine was very tiny, very small.
Well, hopefully this will, hopefully this works.
And they would have benefit from seeing this one. Yeah, mine is
So
like
it's very long, so I'll try to fast forward. I mean, it's 13 minutes. It's not very long, but I'll try to fast forward to get to some of the more so that you
And
can-
some of them are already taken or won't work, right?
Yes.
So this particular piece, the artist created it to be kind of an interactive pieces with pedestrians. So this whole project does not work for the medium in Center City, but it could work in downtown. There's in that corner.
Is he explaining the interactive nature of it?
Like right now.
He may be. I don't recall, and I can't.
What?
Zach, can you? I can't get volume.
Yeah, I'm not sure why there's no volume.
Yeah, that last one might be a good, I know, Patricia, you had mentioned having an art piece right next to that 7-Eleven,
We
right?
talked about that, yes, that
Yeah.
it would start with the mosaics right there.
This would
That would be really cool there.
Good.
this one because
No, the one before, though, we just saw with the interactive,
Yeah,
almost like bowling ball-looking pins, yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Just a second. We'll try to get the volume on so that you can hear what he's saying, or what all the artists are saying.
These are all models, right? This is like a 14 feet tall.
14 feet tall?
I believe so.
Yeah, much taller.
So let's look at site number one. Site number one.
So you have an idea. The E is 16. The leaf is 16 feet, but then you have to add the pedestal. The pedestal. So altogether might be 19. So it's huge, right? So 14 with a pedestal.
And
Yeah.
I'm showing our strategy for.
Sorry, the sound is maxed out over here, but I don't.
Okay.
And our approach took into consideration.
He's saying something like, this
Yeah.
is supposed to be an interactive piece that you can walk in and out,
Yeah.
and it symbolizes, he had a lot of symbolism in there. I mean, he did a good job of explaining why.
It's almost like the human figures, right? And also almost like a family. So a male, female, a child, and then we just kind of weave through it. Yeah.
And I think he intended it to be interactive, but that was when it was on the property for Palomar Heights, which is where, people would be, it would be in the right of way and people would be walking. I think something similar to this still could be done in the median space, just, not promoted as an interactive piece.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
But we thought maybe downtown, where Patricia proposed something in that corner of 7-Eleven, and take that whole corner and have people interacting there, going in and out.
Site number 3 is more of an intimate affair.
And just for the new commissioner's benefit, we did look, public art does not follow the same procurement rules as the typical city procurement does. So normally we would have to go out for bid for something and there would have to be competitively bid and et cetera. But something like this, because we've already reviewed these, we can just go back and to these artists and say, we'd like to work with you. Would you do something like this?
The lawn bowling.
So I'm going to move ahead to the next one.
And Danielle, we were talking about too, as this goes on, that the art, when we start getting the ideas from our art, help me here,
Put master plan?
the master plan, I have such a hard time with that word, master plan, that it would be good, you can keep going, that it would be good to integrate this somehow, to have some conversation, so we don't put one here and one there, and, just be able to, so we can concentrate and, just make them coordinate somehow. And I think it's important that the master plan is part of our decision-making.
Sure. Yes. So this is obviously a much smaller scale. And I don't believe this one was selected for Palomar Heights either.
No, this is available, and it has, I believe this has color, light, color, and water. There you go.
There you go.
And there is no water in most of the places and no electricity, so.
But Heritage Park has both. And it's not lighted. It would be nice to have something with light at night and water. That was chosen, so that's not available. Yeah, that was voted. It's really cool.
It's not to say that we couldn't approach this artist to do something similar to, or similar though.
That piece is not available, you're right. It would be cool to have something moving.
I'm a
a
long-term
mobile.
Escondido resident
Right.
and a working metal artist. Today I'm going to introduce my submission for the Pacific Heights project.
I believe this artist presented 3 different
This
projects.
is Aspire 2. The original
I'm not
Aspire
mistaken, this
was
is the
a
same
commissioned
That was-
artist that
by
did
the
the
city of
ones in Vista, right?
Yes, and this was chosen too.
Phase 2.
That's going to go in the corner of Valley Parkway, if you can picture Valley Parkway and,
Have
what's
received
the name
several
of that street?
inquiries about
In
duplicating
front of
that
the
sculpture.
hospital, Valley Parkway
We've decided
and,
to do
second?
it in a series.
No, second goes
We
that
will
way.
use the
So this one was
basic
also chosen?
Grand Avenue.
shape.
It's where
Yet we
Grand
will
Avenue
add
and Valley
individual
come together.
unique elements
Well, in the corner of Valley
Okay, how
Parkway.
tall is it going to be?
creating an original
It's Valley
sculpture
Parkway, it's
for
not
that
Grand Avenue.
location.
Anyways, right
aware
there
that
in
they
that
were
intersection.
You'll see a perspective when she puts some benches underneath of it. It's very large. I don't know how many feet exactly, but it is very large.
Yeah, you,
This was already chosen.
This was selected already, so this will be going in at Palomar Heights. So I'll move on to the next one.
so far we only seen 2 that are available.
Metalworking.
This is available.
Today I'm here to introduce a submission for the Palomar Heights project. This piece is called New Dawn, and it was inspired by the mid-century architecture of the old City Hall. I love mid-century aesthetics. I like their clean lines and their simplicity, and I knew I somehow wanted to incorporate that into this piece. This piece called New Dawn, it represents to me the melding of the past and the future, which is where Escondido is currently at right now. The symbolism of both the clock and the sun rays is about new beginnings, the movement of time, movement into the future. And so I thought it was really relevant to where Escondido is right now, especially with this project. The piece itself is constructed of Core 10 steel. It's called a weathering steel. So it has an outer layer that will rust to a certain point and then it will stop. So it creates this beautiful natural patina. It is basically maintenance free. I incorporated several different metals. I used stainless steel as well as Corten, and then also some bronze patina. I think the different metals add some interest, some depth, some texture to it. To me, this is just a really simple, easy to understand piece. It's very tiny.
Should I move on to the next?
Where we are.
Is that one selected, or?
No, this is available.
It's a beautiful piece.
I dig that one.
Too bad you're not seeing it in full,
are.
because we
A
could
gate
see it in
is
full
a
screen. We never been able to,
non-corrosive
but
wire cage
it's gorgeous.
That houses inorganic material. It's used in landscaping mostly, for structural retaining walls. It's used for
I don't know if I
drainage
won't do justice what she's saying, but that's metal with colored rocks in it, and then it can be backlit, and
to give
it's,
it a real decorative element.
it reflects
Tower is
light
very
up,
different
right?
from
Glass.
8
yeah,
feet
with
Yeah.
to
glass.
14 feet, and in diameter from 10 inches to 18 inches. So they're long, narrow, tall towers.
So that one is available.
What is good about this one is their modules. Look,
Non-destructible, it's a
listen.
recyclable product. It's not sharp. It's durable. It's color fast. Comes in a variety of colors. At night when it's backlit, it's just fantastic. It looks like fire in the sky, and it's got a real neon glow to it without having
Sounds-
neon at all. I
Okay.
also-
This one, if I may add something to that, there are different sizes, and the sizes we could choose, with the artist. The other thing is they could be spread at different parts during the avenue, kind of, start here and then would appear there, and then maybe even further, kind of unite the whole avenue,
Oh, yeah.
A repeated theme.
Theme, right.
Yeah. That was chosen too. That's the main on the door.
Hello, I'm Amos Robinson, and thank you
The
for
beacon.
this opportunity to present Beacon.
So this
I'm a
one was
local San Diego
selected.
artist and currently have
good
25
choices.
permanent public art installations. Beacon is a unique motorized kinetic sculpture with a slow rotating top piece that contains an illuminated infinity mirror. The piece is designed to have a strong presence standing out both day and night. A beacon, as you know, is a structural guide at all
Star
times.
Wars.
Its light a signal in the dark. The sculpture is a modern take on that concept.
Changes
And
color,
my
no?
expectation is that it will become a landmark associated with Palomar Heights project. During daylight hours, the motor drive and lights can be on or off. Either way, Beacon is a visually appealing contemporary sculpture that complements the planned building and plaza on the site.
I think there may be one more. Let's
Illuminate-
see.
Does that beacon do anything at night?
I thought they had light and color, but there was another one similar, so is that right? There was,
I don't know. This one was chosen too, right? For the,
for the wall.
yeah.
So when you saw that metal tree, that wall would be a retaining wall under in that corner. That's from James Stone also.
So I don't think we're obviously not looking to make any decisions now on who we want to approach, but those are just some options that we can look at going forward for these Center City Parkway locations.
And what we don't know if at the next meeting we should invite the artist and let them know what we're thinking and hear from them and to give us feedback. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
It might be a little premature. I think we should look at the places, and I don't feel solid enough to,
Find a
I don't want to get their hopes up, neither do I want to, I can't think of any questions I would ask until we get to the point where we say, let's try this one here. Tell me
Location?
why that won't work or why it will work. And
As
we,
for location, you're saying?
yes,
Yeah, I would-
location.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I would agree. I think we need to have the meeting in January. I think we need to involve some other city staff. You met with maintenance, but I think we also need to meet with traffic engineering and make sure that we know where these can be placed, because that's going to determine the size of the piece that we can locate in these medians, because I know there are rules about it being a certain amount of feet away from the roadway. So I think we need to have all that information before we approach the artists.
Right, and we have the leaf as an example. So we can, the problem is so difficult to go there and stop and look, how do we do that and when? It's not safe.
I have one question about these mosaics at the beginning of this thing. Were these submitted for something? These mosaics?
They were a part of that first bowling ball looking things, I think.
Oh, they're part of that. Okay, got it.
Bowling pin, not ball.
Bowling pins, yeah.
Bowling pin. They look cool, but I mean, they do remind me of a bowling pin.
Yeah, they are. Pretty much that's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So if we could set a meeting internally, I guess, with our subcommittee, and maybe just, we don't have to be out on site, but maybe narrow down the locations that we can then present to the city staff, and then look into those locations in more depth in January. And then the following meeting, maybe invite the artists.
Okay. Sounds good. Alrighty, next one is mural, Zane. Do we have an update on that?
Yes. So you guys had, let me pull up his proposal. It was the timekeeper mural. This one here. And you guys had some questions for him. So I presented those to him right after the meeting, and I'll just go ahead through and give you his responses. You had asked if the image could be darker to provide more contrast so that it was more visible. And he said absolutely, that this is just a sketch drawing, but the art that's provided here is just pencil. But the planned colors here will be darker. So it will be a darker scale, it will stand out more on the wall, and this is just, like I said, just penciled drawing that he provided for our conceptual purposes. You also asked if the image could be extended farther down the wall to where that natural or that seam is in the wall, and he said yes, absolutely, no problem. He can just adjust it and then add a little bit of the decorative elements to either end. Will the utility box be painted? He said that that's actually a cage. It's not a solid box, which I think we probably knew, but maybe I used the wrong terminology in my question to him. But he said if we want it painted, he can do it, but it wasn't originally in his scope, and we would just have to get approval from SDG&E because that is a gas.
Can be sprayed, yeah.
Yeah, a gas box. The expected timeline you guys asked about, he said it'll take him approximately 1 month to paint the mural, and that includes wall prep. And then the landscape plan, we asked, what was the landscape plan? Can the bushes be removed to increase visibility? And he said that the land there belongs to the bank. He had no plans on removing anything, although he will talk to them about keeping it trimmed smaller than they currently have it, and it shouldn't be a big deal. I'll verify, I'll verify that the bank actually maintains that area and not us. But either way, it shouldn't be an issue to get those bushes trimmed back. And then I mentioned his budget and if there was any flexibility in that, and you guys had asked for kind of more detail on his budget. And he said that it's the square footage price, and it is 600 square feet at $25 a square foot. And so his budget he cannot change the budget.
How much is that?
It was 15,000, I believe. Let me Let me just confirm.
That's a lot.
Oh, I don't have it there.
But we never asked about color, did we?
Pardon me?
Nobody cared about whether it had color.
I would like to see color before we approve it. I was hoping for that today.
It was it's intended to be a grayscale mural, no color.
Yeah, black and white.
Okay.
It was black and white. So he then should show us another rendering with the final contrast, right? I'm still have a problem with the price. I'm sorry. I do. And also we ask if that sign on the right could be moved a little bit.
That I need to confirm, not, he can't confirm that. So I need to confirm that, and I did not for today's meeting.
Yeah, if it could just be moved a few feet, if he's going to extend the mural all the way to that crack or seam, then that needs to be moved. I don't know, any discussion about the price?
No, I mean, if that's, you're talking to someone who does this for a living, and,
600 square feet.
and, I mean, if he charges by the square foot, that's,
He said it's $25 per square foot.
Yes, and it's 600 square feet that he's painting. And just for reference, I don't have the report here on the screen with me, but it is kind of in line with the other murals that we've approved.
I think those-
They're typically $12,000 to $15,000.
We paying Charlie $14,000. It's quite involved what he's doing. Colored, I believe bigger, and we're paying less. I don't know, discussion.
I mean, we're all pretty new to this whole thing to begin with. Maybe Charlie charged cheap, so to say. And if Zane does this, he's been doing that. He's been at this for. I mean, he's a well-known name in the graffiti world and the mural world and that sort of thing. So I mean, maybe that's what folks should be charging. I don't know. Right?
I just wish we got color for that price.
It would be nice to have color in here, but
Would, could.
I have no problem with with no color, as long as it's kind of got that sepia or the black and white, because it is as time goes by, I mean, isn't it supposed to look like old-timey and stuff? The only thing that I look at is that the beautiful hidden valley is hidden. If somehow he could goes by up and get that up at a different angle. I don't have any problem with the 2 palm trees there, because I think that's a natural end to it, because that's actually visually, palm trees will probably be there long after that crack, I don't know. But the natural, you said division, but I don't have any problem with size. It's mostly this is, I know we weren't talking about that, but the words beautiful hidden valley is, like I say, hidden.
Yeah, and they look perfect there. So I think if anything that needs to go is the brushes. They need to be trimmed, or maybe have a new landscape there. Whoever, I don't know who.
I don't think we're going to get that, but I do think for the money we're paying, we should be able to read it.
this is true.
Yeah, so let's find out who is in charge of that, or the maintenance of that. So what are you saying? Do you
Low
want?
flowers there would be nice.
Yeah, I agree. So can we find out who maintains that?
We can, so are we holding off on a vote until January? Are we bringing him back to a third meeting?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is not the way it's going to look. He's saying this.
Do you actually want to have him here, Anna Marie, to ask these questions? I mean, if he were here, we'd probably be able to get some of the answers right away and be able to approve it.
Not on the landscaping, we're going to have to reach out to the
landscaping,
bank.
No.
I don't.
And the contrast.
See that a
I mean,
problem?
This is not the final rendering. He gave us like a sketch. We haven't seen the final thing, right? Because he's going to expand it, he's going to add things, he's going to add contrast. How do you feel? All that is gonna come, we're not gonna see it.
I personally like it how it is and think it's worth the money, especially considering how famous he is.
So you're saying with what you're seeing, we would approve it as it is?
I mean, give with the darker contrast.
Right, the darker contrast and the bushes being cut short.
All right, that,
Yeah.
let's call for a motion. Anybody?
I'll motion.
Okay, say it.
I'll motion to approve this mural.
I second it.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So Saints Mural, by the way, I met him.
Were there any opposed? I didn't hear, was it?
I oppose because I'd like to see, I don't agree with the bushes, but I think that I'd like to have Zane here to explain not about the bushes, not about the landscaping, I think that's the bank is going to might have a problem with that, and landscaping, environmentally, you've got the oxygen and all that stuff. So, I mean, that in itself, that's a huge wall, and I just don't see why we can't just raise some of that a little bit or make it a little bit more, move it around just a little bit, and I'd like to see the depth of what it's going to be, the finished product, with those few changes. Sorry. But I would say no.
Well, I mean, is there room to, once folks are there, I think that's something that we need to discuss too, is that once folks are actually there painting on the wall and they see that being an issue, like what is our wiggle room for him to actually do those things right there?
If he can do that, yeah.
You know,
Well-
so where would we stand in that?
I think we had a problem before where we approve a mural and a design, and then we get a different product. And I think we need to be very careful, and I'm talking about the mural at the museum. That's not what we approved. So let's think about this. Once we vote and approve it, and is that what we're voting for? Not really, that's what I had an issue. He's gonna change it, he's gonna enlarge it, he's gonna add some elements on the right. And he's going to make it more contrasting. We haven't seen that. Do we wait until we see that finally, the final rendering, and then we vote?
Don't we wait until we find out who's in charge of the landscaping? Because that seems to be a big issue, bringing that
If I may
down.
add, just to further discussion, since the vote already took place, it would require everyone who's cast their vote to change it right now. You have 24 hours to be able to do that, but just practically, so you guys know, it's already been approved as is. So if you want to change it, everyone who voted yes would have
But I
to.
think it was my mistake by not asking if anybody was not in favor. Would that null the previous thing?
Fortunately, it wouldn't. As far as the brown, it
I
wouldn't.
didn't see Patricia, okay.
Yeah, sorry. So, but if you're wanting to change it, you can. It would just need an affirmative. Everyone who voted would have to say, okay, we're voting no to start again. So just want to let you know.
I personally would like to change my vote.
Okay.
So I would like to wait.
Have to go through I'll just call it. Commissioner Paul, would you like to
Yeah, no.
retract your vote?
So I'll say no.
Okay, so you're saying no right now?
Yes.
Commissioner Dillander? Oh, sorry.
Okay, so I think we need to make a new motion.
Can't do, but the thing is, since you already made a motion that already passed,
have to-
we have to get this one
Okay,
retracted
okay,
first,
okay,
and then you
got
can
it.
go ahead and
And then
make a
we
new
need to do a
motion.
new
So I just need to know if you're willing to, but it still has, yeah, so Commissioner Paul, you would like to retract your vote.
I will retract my vote.
Commissioner Dillander, would you like to retract your vote or hold your vote?
I mean, we're going to have the mural.
Well, I think, can I say something?
Sure, it's discussion, but everyone's gonna have to.
Patricia and what she's
Speak
bringing
up.
up, and the idea of waiting to find out about the landscaping, which is hidden. Maybe that's why we're wanting to retract our votes. Not that we don't approve of it.
Yeah, the
Okay.
mural will take place.
I'll retract my vote.
Commissioner Vargas?
I mean, for the sake of further discussion on this, and yeah, sure, I'll retract my vote.
Commissioner Velasco?
Yeah, I'm a no.
Commissioner Martinez?
for the discussion, I'll retract as
You
well.
don't need, you already voted no, so, okay. All right. So perfect. Then now the floor is open for you guys to make additional motions and things like that.
So can I make a motion myself? I've
Yeah,
never
you're allowed
made
to
one.
as
I
a chair,
didn't
you're
think
allowed.
as a chair I could do motion.
Yeah, you're allowed to, yeah.
So my motion would be the motion would be to have Zane come with a final rendering of this mural with the final size, with the new elements, the contrast, and with the landscape taken care of. That would be my motion.
I don't know how much power we have regarding the landscape, though, right? That's something.
So you want to remove
That's something that Zane would not be able to have control over.
That's something Zane doesn't have control over, nor do we. If the bank says we're not going to trim it, then
And he will have to make a change so we can see beauty, hidden valley, beautiful, whatever, you know? So what I'm saying is we need to see a final rendering. This is just a sketch.
Anna Marie, I believe when we're spending $16,000, we ought to have the artist here to have, I mean, we want to move this, we want to see it done, but we have some questions. So I would hope in the future that if we have something like this and it's right down to the wire, that for $16,000 that he could, and he's a great artist, would be here and answer the questions we have so it doesn't prolong it anymore. And that's really not a motion, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah, do we need a motion for that, Zach?
If you're just requesting to have the muralist come back, I think that's just simply direction to Danielle, so I don't think it requires a vote.
If he could come back, this is the first time we don't see the artist coming personally. It was through you, right? But he didn't come and propose it. We could have asked all those questions right away. So maybe.
well, I mean, he did answer the questions, but not.
No dialogue. Yeah.
Well, I asked all the questions that you had asked at the last meeting, and he did answer those, but I think we need further clarification for you, which is going to be on me, not necessarily him. So I'll need to reach out to the bank and ask about this landscaping, and then also if the sign can be relocated a couple of feet. The mural is actually going to end at that sign, so I don't know if it needs to be moved out. I mean, I can ask, but is that going to be a deal breaker if the answer is no?
No, it wouldn't
so,
be,
no.
but it would be nice to have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't be a deal breaker. So
Okay.
basically, when we vote as a commission, we need to have a final product. This is not a final product. That's what it is. So we invite him for the next one. He can come with the final product.
Okay.
All right. So postpone for January. Next one is San Diego Children Discovery Museum mural.
Okay. So I would like to invite up Melanie from the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum. I think she's been here before. I'll pull up her application first, and then I will show you. You've seen a couple of the options of the art that they've proposed for the location out front of their building. And I just want to pull this up because I just want to make sure that I'm grabbing the right information. So the amount of funding that they are requesting for this mural is $30,000. The dimensions is 24 by 24, which is 576 square feet. We do have a letter from the owner, and then let me give you, we have some pictures of the location, and I don't want to take over if you would. So this is the location outside of their building. That's the front view. It's kind of another front view from the angle, but so that you can see the construction of that board there. And then this is from the side. Okay, and then the art that is proposed, which you have seen in the past, you saw a couple of different options, but this is the one that they decided to go with. Oh no.
Spin around. Don't see it.
Can't see.
There we go.
So this is the mural that they decided on.
Oh, I like it.
Children Discover Museum.
So Melanie is here to answer any questions you have.
Melanie, what is the total cost of this? Is it $30,000?
For the artist, it's, excuse me, in his proposal, it's $26,500 from start to finish, including.
And what is the other $4,000 for?
The other was for additional maintenance, should it be needed, as one of the concerns I know the commission had was that the mural would be up for a very short amount of time for that much money, so we gladly extended the time that the mural would stay up, including, I checked with the artist as well, obviously, they're totally okay with it. The rest of it was proposed that it would go, so $30,000 was the original amount I had given. The $26,500 is what the artist came back to us with, so that can be adjusted. We can go down to the $26,500.
I don't mean to interrupt. One other question. How long do you propose this to be there?
No less than 2 years, no more than 5.
5 years for $30,000.
So this is a temporary mural.
Long-term temporary, yeah. So, but again, if that's sort of the main issue that the commission has with the funding, we, as a museum, as an institution, are open to having it up for longer than that.
And you have no other funding available?
No, I'm afraid not. We still have grants out for most of our facility maintenance as well, so.
Now, what's behind that is a I love mosaics. But, I love this mosaic in particular. The one that's behind that is the one that was over on the Mingay Museum the Penny's building at one time, and then it got taken down and parts got put different places in the sky.
Okay.
So, there is a beautiful mural behind that, but,
Really? Behind this, there's a,
yes.
is that the one that was in the on the side street?
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's a depiction of a battle. It's a battle depiction.
If you can see it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of it that, no, not quite.
Yeah, not great.
Oh,
That's
so-
the best.
That's iconic. That's the biggest thing that goes through my mind, that it's just, there's so many iconic things and that are just being torn down, or and I don't even know that this might even have to go through Historic Preservation Commission or something, because it is something that's been in town for a lot of years.
Yeah, well, I know that the wall was put up before, I joined the team, because it's a battlefield, like it's a battle rendering, so when we decided to open a children's museum, we just didn't feel it was appropriate, and I think that the previous executive director looked into having it moved, but that the cost was basically structural, and there was no way the museum could afford to have it taken down and then moved. So the wall was put up there, and there have been murals hanging from it before. So that's kind of where we're at right now. That's why that structure is there.
Could this be painted on panels so that it is not destroyed in 5 years?
I could speak to the artist about it, potentially.
I was gonna have a hard time putting 30,000 to be gone in 3 years.
That's fine.
I would like to see something colorful done on the panels behind San Diego Children's Discovery Museum, because that could be brightened up, and this looks like it's there to hide something.
Right, yeah. Well, part of the reason, so we are also working as an institution on a rebrand, so that's going to take a little bit of time, but the light up sign at the front is due to change, and then that means that brown sort of top is going to probably change as well, but that's going to be in about a year or so.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the color of the building or just the roof?
The
roof.
top, yeah.
It's almost part of the roof, but side, yeah.
Yeah, but it's.
Yeah, that siding is definitely going to be changed in the next, hopefully, probably in the next year or 18 months, I would say. Yeah.
So my concern would be that instead of paying for something that will be painted over in 3 years or 4 years, that could be painted on panels, put away and maybe brought back to life after a few years and not waste things. It's a lot of money, 30,000, you know?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, part of our goal overall as an institution is sustainability. That includes our exhibits.
Exactly.
And so everything we put forward inside the museum also will have life afterwards so that it's not destroyed. And we do consider the mural a living exhibit as part of our collection as well. So
It could be rotated. How many square feet?
576. It's 24 by 24.
So how much does it make it? Can you do that?
A square foot or so.
Yeah.
$52 a square foot.
So it's double what Zane is asking. Yeah, Zane is asking 25. It's not color though, right? So
Yeah.
is the price somehow, can we bring it down a bit?
I can speak to the artist. Again, this includes everything from the insurance and the rental of the equipment, cleaning out all the landscaping in front of it, possibly removing that fence as well, since it's falling apart. So it's in addition to the artist's fee itself. This is everything we would need, the insurance, the equipment, that's all of it, so.
So part of it would be working on the fence as well?
Well, I mean, that's outside of this budget. That's ours to take on, but that's part of it. But that's separate from the cost of what we're asking for today. This is supplies, paint, and equipment, $3,500. Concept design, activity, ideation, artist fee, $8,000. Installation, labor, and insurance is $15,000.
Can you project, can we see that?
Yes.
I think is,
There we go.
yeah. So you can ignore the last two lines.
Any discussion? I mean, we have a black and white mural that we're going to be paying $25 per square foot,
Yeah, I mean,
and this one is 50.
even so, and I mean, I hope none of this comes across as like, you know, that it's a very nice mural. Don't get me wrong, like, but I feel uncomfortable paying that much for something that seems temporary, even though it's going to be there 3 to 5 years. But it's literally on slats, like on a
Like a billboard rather than
Yeah.
a mural.
and I don't know. I just it's a really cool mural. Don't get me wrong. Like colors are great. It goes with the Children's Museum. Totally.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
But yeah, I mean we don't have, we have, I don't want to say we have limited funds, but our funds are pretty. I mean, we don't have a lot to.
That's a quarter of our funds, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially. So, yeah, that's kind of my first initial feelings and thoughts when we're looking at this.
Okay, so let's see. So one consideration would be if it could be less. So if the price could change, that would be one thing. Two, if it was not temporary, meaning like what we spoke before, could be done in panels, it will be removed, and then could be back again. That way our $30,000 will become, doesn't go to waste. Anything else?
Yeah. I love the mural. It's beautiful, and it's very good for children. I just don't like the way it looks right there, like that, like a sign.
Yeah, I mean, the problem we have is,
I know your problem. It's the building.
yeah, so,
You basically are trying to cover, what is behind. You don't want it to be seen.
correct, since we can't afford to move it. So that was the solution that they came up with, I don't know, 10 years ago, I guess. That's how long we've been on the site,
The
so.
latest mural recently got blown down in a storm, correct?
Correct, yes.
So
it
there's
was on
been a mural,
canvas.
there's been a mural in that
There's
location.
been
for
at
a
least
while.
3 different murals up there on the canvas.
I've seen it.
prior. Yeah.
Could you show the picture again?
The previous ones were though.
Well, with the project, with the mural.
And who paid for the other murals that you put up?
They paid, I believe, like $100 to the winning artist, but then they had it painted on, or printed on canvas, and we would not support not paying an artist for their work, so.
Is there any other way to attach that mural to the wall so it doesn't look like a billboard? If you remove those posts and have it attached to the wall behind it, so that it looks like it belongs to that wall. We don't see those. I think that's what it makes it look like a billboard, right?
Right.
Could you?
We can workshop the option, but it would cost much, much more than what we're asking for now. I don't know how the museum would be able to afford that. And I don't foresee anyone sponsoring us putting a wall on top of a wall, so it would be a cost that we couldn't incur.
No, I don't think that's what I meant. I meant that it would be not attached immediately, on top of it, separated a bit, but in a way so that it goes backwards and we don't see the bottom, we only see the art.
So that the corners of the building match the corners of the mural.
Again, I mean, the possibility exists, putting that cost together, I think, I don't have an answer to that question. I can't imagine it would be any less than many thousands of dollars to make that move happen.
No.
It could happen, maybe.
I would agree with that. I don't think that's going to be a cost effective.
Pretty cost prohibitive, because I would imagine we would need metal to go through the existing mosaic, and if we don't want to damage the historical mosaic behind it, because we'd have to probably punch through it to then affix that wooden, thing. That's going to damage the mural, and obviously we didn't want to damage the mosaic, so that's why I have this one up in front of it. So.
Conundrum.
That probably would come up at the Historic Preservation
Yeah,
Commission.
I don't think they'd be happy
They
about
would
that.
not go for that, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
so
Yeah.
that's not going to happen, right? So what about if we propose a change in the price,
Okay.
lower it quite significantly, and then two, make it so that it can be how would you say, reused, repurposed, reused. I mean, no, reuse the same mural come back in a few years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever. Could be used for a set on a stage or whatever, but it's not destroyed and paint over. That's the thing. Are you planning in the future, are you planning to just paint over and do another mural right on top of that?
Potentially, but this is again the first time we have taken this initiative, so we don't necessarily have an end date. Again, I said 5 years, but it could be up indefinitely. We don't have, the museum isn't, sold on a specific time when it has to expire, when it has to go away.
Okay, anybody proposes something else? So we could say less expensive, lower the price, and then maybe in some sort of way that can be removed and kept.
Is there a certain amount that you would be willing to fund if we could come up with the remainder of it?
Well, how much was the other one? The other one is
16,000.
600 square feet?
I don't know, folks. I mean, what I'm concerned about is just the amount of money we have left, the potential, spaces that we have available in Escondido to put more. Not that this is, this is a great idea. I don't feel sold on how it is as is, and I don't know if, considering that there's already a mosaic there that has significance, it's public art, and sure, it's a battlefield, it's a children's museum, but there's really nothing we can do about that. We could maybe advertise that a little bit more and talk about this historical significance of that mosaic, but I just don't feel comfortable, paying for essentially a billboard.
Yeah.
I hate to be that blunt, but.
I agree with that because of the mosaic has a more tactile and, well, that isn't even the right word. It's it's longer lasting, I should say. And like you say, it's a historic, it's something you can teach kids about, and what's inside that museum, it makes me want to go inside it. This just, I just hate that it's hiding the mosaic, and even at that, I don't see it really being a part of the children's museum. Like you said, if the colors were different on top, I mean, it does not coordinate with the other things that are going on there to me.
Maybe when the whole rebranding happens, we could come back and maybe consider some new options and I think I'd be open to helping out and collaborating in some way of redesigning those things, and maybe by that time we could have a better discussion with the historical folks. Like, I feel like this is a Band-Aid approach to something that we could really work collaboratively and make something really awesome there,
Even if you use the fence down there as a canvas to make something along the bottom instead of having it high, I mean, you could coordinate the two together. I mean, just the like the fence there doesn't. It brings color in, and I'm sure it does other things too. But if you had a fence that had rocket ships and things going on, that it wouldn't cover that area. I'm just looking at it from a designer's point of view.
Yeah.
I do feel we need to support the museum in one way or the other.
Agreed.
It's right in front of Grape Day Park. It needs to reflect its purpose. If you remove that canvas, it won't. It simply will not. So I would be willing to support it if the price was much lower and it wasn't temporary. That would be my opinion.
Would agree with that. I think the fact that there's no plan set to make this kind of preserve the piece itself is what we're very hesitant on as well. So if you could come up with a plan to keep that in place and preserve the art itself, I think that's something we could discuss further.
At a lower price, right? Yeah, so that would be,
Danielle, does that mosaic go from the top of the building to the bottom of the building, or is it just in like the top 10 feet?
No, I believe it's the whole top, the
thing.
whole floor to.
So that's a shadow behind it, of course, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
too bad that they don't, yeah. All right, do we need a motion for this?
So there's a couple ways you can go about it. You could either, if it sounds like there's unanimity, to be able to at least have it heard at a future time if you want, or you could just vote up or down, yes or no on the mural. So you could vote, someone can make a motion to approve the mural, someone can make a motion to reject the mural, or you could just all say we want this back at the January meeting with a more discussion. So those are kind of your three options.
So should we make a motion then to come back in January with a new price tag and a more permanent solution?
Yeah, I'd support that.
Okay, so let's see. So I make a motion to have this mural come back to the January meeting with a lower price tag per square footage and in a more permanent base form, whatever the artist decides, whether the museum decides to keep it like that for 5 years or whether the artist wants to make it into panels that can be removed. Either one. That's my motion. So now we vote.
I just need a second. Can someone second that motion?
I don't know if I could say that mouthful, but
I'll repeat it. I think for simplicity's sake, motion to have this mural come back in January with the recommendations put forth by Chair Velasco.
I'll second that.
All right, and then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's hard to say no. Okay. All right. Thank you so much from that. And wait, I'm in the wrong agenda. Liaison report?
Okay, not too much to report since our last meeting was just a month ago. But I did want to let you know that the tennis mural that you saw here at the last meeting will be going up on the Ray Love Tennis Center. So we're excited to get that started. That'll be in the next month or so. We're just coordinating with the artist, and that's the same artist that did the piece over on Orange Avenue. Second and Orange, I guess, is the closest intersection. So that'll be getting started. I also wanted to bring to your attention that phase 2 of the Grand Avenue project is going to be getting started, and so you'll want to keep your eyes open for any public meetings there. There will be public art components to that. So I'll be providing you updates as that moves along. That will be from Broadway to Calmia or Juniper. I'm sorry, I don't recall, but one of those. I think it's Calmia, actually. So basically very similar to what happened on the first phase, widening of sidewalks, the lighting, which I believe is actually already there, and then, like I said, maybe a public art component somewhere along that walkway.
Yeah, I remember there was, I'm sorry, am I?
No, go ahead.
That there was conversation about doing like fences, right? Or like railings at each.
There are the restaurants on the phase 1 already have those up, except for Felipe's Pizza Grotto. They don't have theirs up yet, but all the other restaurants do have the black wrought iron fencing where they're providing the all those that wanted it. For instance, like Barrel Republic wanted to do their own type to fit with more of their motif. But all those that wanted it have received it, and they have their designated outdoor dining areas.
There was also talk about putting stuff in the sidewalk, right? Like designs in the sidewalk, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and I don't know that was, there was supposed to be an artistic element of some kind of like welcome or Escondido written in the sidewalk, and I don't know that happened, actually. But I can look at that. But that's, phase 1 is complete. Phase 2 is starting to ramp up with the design phase, which will be very similar, like I said. But there will be some opportunities for art. So I just wanted you guys to keep your eyes open. And if I know about anything, I'll let you know. But you should be invited to the public sessions on that. One of the pieces, one thing that we will definitely be exploring is there will be a roundabout. There's a roundabout proposed for Broadway and Grand Avenue, and potentially putting a piece of public art in that roundabout.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
So that's something that you'll be involved in if that's what happens.
And Patricia, your idea with your idea about the yeah. So you will let us know, and can some of us attend if we want to or not?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're public meetings. Mhm.
And where do they take place here?
Well, they're not set yet, so I can't answer that question, but likely probably the Mitchell Room here at City Hall. Yeah.
When will that be?
The dates are not set.
I mean, by the end of the year, or?
No, probably beginning of next year, I would say.
Okay, is that along with the master plan for the art too? Would that, when that's going to be?
That's separate.
I know.
We have a master plan for Grape Day Park as well. That's happening. And so there'll be some public art components to that as well. So I'll make sure to loop you guys into all of those things.
Now, will we be making decisions on those, or will we be giving input on to make decisions, or where will we stand in that circle of, who puts the rubber stamp on it to say that's
If
what
public art funding is involved in it, then you guys will have a vote on the recommendation of those projects.
Okay.
If not, then it'll just be, kind of just letting you guys know what's happening, and then receiving any feedback from you.
The Grape Day Park, I know that was done way back then, before the pandemic. Are they going to be open to public input again?
Yes.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
So there you can participate, not necessarily as commissioner, but as a citizen, and, so I would love to be part, so send us the info.
Those meetings will be in November. That's the meeting I was coming from, actually, before I came here. So those stakeholder and public meetings will be happening November, December timeframe.
And you don't know yet when?
No, I don't have exact dates yet.
I think getting the updates on the roundabout will be important, because in that CCP meeting we went to, they said on these like public projects that are happening, like the Creek Trail, if they would have known we wanted to put in art there, they would have just like capped off some electricity or some water or whatever. And so if we ever think that would be a good feature to have, they could do it then, as opposed to like,
As part of the project.
yeah. Having to put in like funding for ripping up the streets or something.
Right.
So.
But we did have input for art and the Creek Trail. I remember that.
And
From the
that's-
public, but not from here.
Correct, yes. And that's another thing that will be coming. So the Creek Trail project is about, we're looking at the bid documents right now. So we hope to be out to bid for that project, the construction of that project, in the next couple of months. About halfway through that is when we'll start looking at the public art for that project, because we can't install anything until construction's done. We wouldn't want it to get damaged or anything like that. But we are looking at, for sure, a mural, potentially on the sides, the slanted sides of the flood control channel. And then we also have some partners, community or neighborhood healthcare, that is interested in putting a mural on their building that backs up to the Creek Trail. And we think probably once people see murals going up lining the Creek Trail, we'll have more interest, and people will be reaching out to us quite a bit, so. But other than the murals, at this point, that's the only type of public art that's proposed for the Creek Trail right now. There is a basket weave. There's a section, I think it's at Date, and there's a basket weave design that's going to be in the concrete. And that will be constructed through not through us, but through the contractor that's going to be doing the project.
Danielle, I have a question, but only when this discussion is through, about the Creekside.
Okay, sure.
My question is, do you have a picture of the mural you were talking about at the Ray Love Tennis Center?
Let me see if I have it from our last meeting. I may.
I don't remember that.
No, I don't remember either.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it, but I don't think we saw the design, did we? No, we haven't.
Yes, you saw it at the last meeting.
We did?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That's in Kit Carson.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
And it's on the inside, not on the
It's on
outside.
the inside, facing the tennis courts, not facing the public street.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And I remember mentioning, why not do it on the outside, so everybody could see it? That was a question I had.
Partially because they were concerned about the bottom half of it being a maintenance issue because of sprinklers and dirt and whatnot. And this is really, the gentleman that is funding this is an avid tennis player, and it's really intended for the users of the facility.
So this is a privately funded.
Correct.
The audience will be the players, the tennis players. Yeah.
And anyone else. That area is not just utilized by it's primarily utilized by the tennis players, but this is a public restroom, and it's right in the middle of the park, and it's used by a lot of hikers, anyone that's in the park, not just the tennis players. So primarily it will benefit the tennis center, but there will be other people that see it.
Yeah, and they're paying for it, so, yeah. Nice. Okay.
And then the only other update I had, lighting the way, like I said, hopefully they will be attending our January meeting and providing an update on that project. And then Tristan's mural, the Sky Whale, I don't know if you guys have been past the 7-Eleven, is looking wonderful, and I believe he's on schedule to be done sometime in November.
Right.
Do you know how much we paid a square foot on that one?
I could probably, you know what?
They're both.
I can find out for you. I don't know what the square footage is on that wall.
Just interesting to kind of get comparisons and see where, and I know artists are different prices, and
I remember.
I'm guessing it's probably similar to what Zane had asked for. It seems like it's similar in size. And And I know that I believe his mural was 16,000, so.
Charlie and his are, Charlie's 14 something and this is 16. That's why the other ones are sounding so out of reach for us. So and they're quite involved, both of them. Yeah. So I think they need to look at that. Are we still on liaison report? That's what we are?
That's all I had, unless you have any questions.
All right. Well, the mural subcommittee, do you have anything to add?
No, just that we did meet, when did we meet?
What
Maybe
back?
2 months ago or so?
Yeah.
Discussed a lot of, just now that the mural program is kind of starting to gain traction, kind of like the holes that we're seeing come up, and just with like the funding, the deadlines, how long it's taking, and that sort of thing. So there was a lot of discussion regarding that and how it's how that impacts the artists, and Danielle was able to give us just a glimpse of the background to see like where these things are. So I think the discussion, I think it was a positive discussion. We were able to sort of like it's just kind of overall see what is going on with that. But yeah, that was about maybe 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. I don't.
It was prior to our last meeting, because we did briefly discuss it here. I think one of the big changes that came out of that meeting is the way we're going to be paying our artists, because they're having a hard time coming up with the funding themselves, right? So we do offer an advance payment, and then it's split into 2 other payments midway and then at the end. But we talked about breaking that down a little bit more and potentially doing 4 payments. So future contracts moving forward, we'll be amending that language to hopefully make it a little bit easier on the artists financially and be able to get the murals, moving faster.
One thing we talked about was to meet again in a small numbers, though, maybe 3 or 4 people, and go over the policy and put some deadlines on the process because the artist and have deadlines. When do you need to have this done? Also, we talk about having a cheat sheet so that we can give it to the artist and they know exactly, I need to do this first, second, and third, and no surprises on the way. So we need, I guess, you're part of that. I mean, you're the chair of that committee. We need to meet maybe with you, the 3 of us, and maybe one of the artists. And just a small working meeting, nothing. But I don't know when. I could do December, but.
December?
I could do December.
Yeah.
I could too.
I'm not
Okay.
sure this year, so.
And maybe get it over with as far as going through the process and make it more precise. But I wanted to add about murals. Charlie's is moving quite along, and it's looking great. But also, they started repairing the frontage of that tortilleria. So hopefully that mural will, and that's a beautiful mural. So we're gonna have that one on the side, Charlie, and then we have the Mario's, what's the last name? Mario something, the mural facing Rose.
Mario Torrero.
Yes.
No sé. Oh, Toro. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if we did talk about that mural, I think, at our last meeting, but I think since then I found out that they were awarded that facade improvement grant. So that's why you see that work is beginning.
Oh, that's great.
And also Charlie said that while he's painting, a lot of youth has come to him. Did he tell you that? And they want to be part of this. They want to become, the whole Washington Park to become like, what's the name of the one in San Diego?
Chicano Park.
Yeah, the Chicano Park. And they want to paint and so on. So it's starting to pick up and grow. I'm excited. So let's think about that in the future.
Where's Charlie's?
It's in the tortilleria that's Washington Park.
That's called, okay, I'm thinking Charlie's Restaurant over here.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
Charlie the artist.
Charlie is the artist.
Oh, gosh. Okay, thank you.
That's okay, no worries.
His mural is facing the creek.
I know where you're talking.
And it has a great view when you're driving on Rose. It's right there.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's exciting when it's, and also one more thing, I'm sorry. So we haven't inaugurated the students' murals. Sudi wanted to do something where we would invite the community and participate on this. So maybe when Charlie's done, we could do those combined
I think that's a great idea to do them together.
and have a community
Celebration.
celebration, right?
I had one thing to add to the mural subcommittee, it wasn't part of the subcommittee meeting, but I just returned from Miami. And there's a neighborhood, and I was trying to find the name, Wynwood. And it's, the program is called Wynwood Walls. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's now a paid facility that you have to go in, but the murals are incredible, and there's so many of them, and they're all very unique. Kenny Scharf, who did the mural out here, has a mural there.
Oh,
The mural at the California Center for the Arts, he has a mural there, which is what brought me to it in the first place, because I wanted to see that mural in Miami and, get a picture of that one. But the surrounding neighborhood, I mean, if you check out the website, but then also the surrounding neighborhood is just, every square inch of building is covered in incredible murals. To be honest, it was a little much, in my opinion, like literally every inch is covered.
It's too much.
But some of them are just, I mean, I don't know if they were, if these were murals that the businesses paid for, or if it's just street artists doing them. But it was just incredible, and it's causing this neighborhood to just gain so much popularity, and it's become a tourist attraction in Miami. And if you ever have a chance to check it out, I would recommend that.
It's the whole idea of starting to build up in East Escondido, to start building that, exactly. We started, but it's going to take a while. I wanted to add something to the rest of the commissioner, to ask you. I thought we could add a 5-10 minute inspirational, if you want to call it. We all have things to share. I have tons of things about murals in other cities every time I go, and I would love to be able to share them. So if it's okay with you, we could add, I don't know what you want to call it, sharing art.
The
Yeah.
gallery moment.
And we just send it, a gallery moment, and we send it to you, and we just have that as an inspiration for us to continue with this.
You want that as a standard agenda item?
That's what I'm saying. Would that be okay?
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was just in Ashland, Oregon, and they had some very nice art there. Inspirational. I took some pictures.
I just realized Terry is not here.
Yes, she had a conflict. She couldn't make this meeting.
Okay.
I think this is very important right now with the art master plan coming up too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can even do it at the beginning, just a 5-10 minute inspiration, or at the end, whatever you guys decide. All right? Okay. Do we need a motion?
Zach, could we do that under items from commissioners?
Yeah, you could do it under items from commissioners. That's standing on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Okay.
Oh, good.
All right.
Do we need someone to volunteer to do it for next time? I think I know who would.
We have a lot of us are, so, I do have enough, but I don't have to do it.
And Chair Velasco, and this is separate, but it came to mind when it was came up from Commissioner Span earlier. I know there's referencing a Historic Preservation Commission. For those of you who don't know, we do have one separately. There are possibilities that exist if you ever want to hold a joint meeting with another commission. There might be a benefit to talking with them and maybe coordinating on where there's historical sites and where you guys might want public art. Just want to throw that out there for your
What's the
consideration.
name of it? The
Historic Preservation Commission. They generally deal with housing-related issues where Mills Act is enforced, but that body has a lot of depth of knowledge of historical sites in the city. So just there might be some cross-pollination that would be
And they
positive
meet,
for you guys.
when do they meet?
They meet quarterly, not frequently, but they usually don't have a ton of items on their agenda right now. So it always could be something we include, just to let you know. Yeah.
That sounds good.
That is good.
All right, so we'll have that, and you decide, Danielle, where you want to put it, I guess.
Okay.
Queen Califia Subcommittee, that would be Patricia and Danielle?
I spoke to, we're this week, we had 206, and that's been about the amount that we've been having come just from all walks of life. The repairs look good. They continue to see little stones fall off, but you have to look for them right now. There are big gaps. We get a lot of tour requests. They keep coming from schools and other groups. And Marty continues to do a great job with Danielle coordinating all of that, and we look forward to getting together for that, the event circle, so that we can even do more events there and hopefully make some money.
Yes, so
Thank
just a
you
little
both.
update on the event space. As you know, we put out the RFP, we got no responses, so we were going to bring it in-house. We have looked into that a little bit more, and I think, and we'll be meeting, we have not met since our last meeting, so we'll be pulling together the Queen Califia subcommittee, and we'll be talking that over, but I think we're going to try to approach it, we think the best way to approach it is like we did the NFC courts, which is where we buy the actual structure itself. The city would just outright buy that, and then you contract for someone to install it versus contracting someone to design it and build it. Because I think that's where we're coming into a problem. These firms that, architectural, design firms are so busy right now, just like everyone else. There's so many projects going on. There's a lot of money out there right now for public projects. And so everyone is just overwhelmed. So we're going to take that approach, put it back out to bid just for the construction. We're waiting on the quote for the structure, which is what I want to share with the subcommittee. It's not set in stone. We haven't decided, but we'll take a look at that structure and make sure that everyone is happy with it, and then put that out to bid just for the installation of the structure itself. And then any additional funding would go, we'll have to add like a sidewalk up to it and things like that. But it's moving forward slowly but surely.
I would love to see a way to advertise Queen Califia. I keep looking, finding people who are residents of Escondido and have never seen it. How can we advertise it?
Our economic development department is working on a project right now to better increase our tourism, our economic development tourism. I'm not saying that correctly, but one of the things, they've pulled me into those meetings, and one of the things that they would like to focus on is our public art and Queen Califia. So they're in the discussion phases right now of planning the scope of what that project's going to look like, but that is one of the areas where they want to promote Escondido.
Danielle,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I still stand on the hill. I don't want to die there, but I still think that by bringing more mosaics to downtown, we can also promote Queen Califia. So I would like to, at some point, I've talked to a couple, and I actually showed the presentation I gave to council members, and they said bring it to the council. So I'm considering that. I just wondered what your thoughts would be on that if I took that same presentation that I did here and took it to the chambers.
You mean the one about Mayberry? No.
Yes, well, about Queen Califia being part of the connection and making it why we have something so timeless here.
Right.
And they're such a small town, but we can do something that brings our vineyards together, our culture together, and then point it back to Queen Califia. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you're bringing an idea to the council, right?
Absolutely,
Right.
yes.
It's not the final art
No. It's just an idea, just some more people it's just amazing, when I gave it to the Downtown Business Association, they were like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. And so, and on top of that, they kept building, we could do this, and we could get someone to donate this, and by working together, it's something that could be just free form, that could just happen with good direction from you guys.
So what I wanted to ask you, can we use the digital signs that we have, digital panels, whatever you want to call it, that we have in Escondido? For example, the mall has a huge one in there. Toyota has one in the entrance of 78. Center for the Arts has another one. Can we coordinate so that they would run once in a while something about Queen Califia. Where is it located? When is it open? But not only that, it could be also events.
So the answer is yes. I don't know about all of those. I know that we can use Toyotas each. I know that we have a contract with the Toyota. I do not know about the other ones, but they're very, the format of those is very specific, so we would just have to design something. It has to be approved through the planning department, I believe, and Toyota. And it's very specific, like it can't have, it can only have words in the top banner and the lower banner. It has to be just an image. So we're very limited to what we can use on there because people are driving by that and they don't want people to have to read anything. But the short answer is yes, it can be done.
You can only put a title. You could say Queen Califia, open Tuesday, Thursday, time. That's it.
Well, what about
No
the
image.
Did you mention the marquee at the Center for the Arts?
Yeah, that one should not be a problem, right?
Yeah, we should be able to use that one. I don't know, I mean, the Center for the Arts is basically the city, so we should be able to use that. I don't know if there's any regulation around that one or not.
And the mall is fantastic. It's a
How about
huge-
Channel 16? Isn't that a
Channel 19?
19?
Yes, we can definitely do that.
And then ask if the mall would be willing to share space because it's 2 stories high, it's 3-story high. That would be fabulous for people who are shopping and see, okay, Queen Califia open these days, blah, blah, and other art, forms.
It might be something for the subcommittee maybe to work with.
Yeah.
Our
Well, that would be
advertising
just for Queen Califia, but I'm saying we could go further than that. But maybe we can start with Queen Califia, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
That would be exciting. All right. Item from commissioners?
Is this like the reports part or?
No, we are ready to report. Do you have anything you want to talk about? Or would you like, we can go to future agenda items, which you said we would.
Future agenda items, I have lighting the way, and then the 2 murals we saw today.
And didn't you say something, Zach, to put it in future agenda item? What was that?
I was just saying that if you would ever like to have a joint meeting between the Historic Preservation Commission and the Public Art Commission, you can. I think next meeting would probably be too soon to turn
Too
that
mu-
around.
and too much
But sometime
already.
in 2023, perhaps you guys could schedule that.
So light up the way, and then,
Danielle, can we talk about something that happened before? Is that part of the? Oh, well, let me just mention it, you can say yes or no. As far as the museum, the Children's Museum there, that whole top there that you had mentioned that it wasn't very colorful,
Right.
to do not a museum, to do a painting, a mural or something in that area wouldn't change the face of the building. But I don't know if they have thought about doing that instead of a fence that I was talking about. But that whole brown area that has Children's Museum on it, to do something
instead of the mural.
instead of a mural.
Yeah.
It would still,
That mural, it doesn't look like it's in the right place. You agree?
Yeah, I agree.
you used the word billboard, and it was a good,
It is, it looks like a billboard.
And
I
it's
think-
temporary.
I think that may be something if you would want to reach out to them. I don't think that's something that would necessarily come here. If they're just going to change the paint color or, of those panels on their building. And like she said, they're going to be going through a rebranding, so that may not be something that they're ready to talk about just yet. But if you had a suggestion, I would reach out to them directly, unless you wanted that to be like part of the mural that they were going to bring back in January. In which case, then I guess I could communicate with Melanie and let her know that.
Instead of a mural to have.
Instead of a
that
mural.
thing.
I would like for them to explore that, or at least to look at that, as far as a mural on that brown part of the
But you're saying also to remove.
what's that?
You're saying to remove also the panel. That
Remove the panel and just do something that's fantastic up there.
Or like you said, on a fence in front of it.
Right.
Yes.
Or both. But is the mural that is behind appropriate for the museum or not?
Well, they don't seem to think so. So, but I can reach out to Melanie and see if she can run that through her board or whoever it needs to go through at the San Diego Children's Discovery Museum. And then if they come back in January, hopefully they will, I can ask her if we can discuss that at that time.
Well, they already have the medium to do it, right? They have the wood up there or whatever it is. And so they could create something and it would be proportionate to the building. That's all. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, if we want to, I mean, as far as like future agenda items, I'd want to maybe have a meeting in November where we could call Zane back and, because I mean, waiting till January is kind of, it's a long time, you know. And I'm sure, you know, I don't want muralists that are hungry to do art here in our city to have to wait very long, because then it just kind of, it might deflate their want to do it, you know. So if we could maybe have.
Do we have to move to make a meeting?
We have a meeting set for November. That's our regular meeting. This
Okay.
meeting was held, this was a special meeting held intended to replace that.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to keep that on the books, it has not been canceled yet.
Got it.
I won't be present at that one,
Okay.
but you guys can be.
What's the date again? November?
14th, I believe, but let me just make sure.
I do have to say, though, that Zane could have been present here today to present this. I mean, he has had 2 opportunities, so.
I mean,
He had a conflict, so.
yeah,
But if you would.
November 14th,
November 14th. That's a Monday?
the Monday.
Yeah. What else?
So we can keep that meeting instead of canceling it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I think we were going to talk about time of the meetings too, right? Was that something we were going to bring up?
Yes, we were. Yes, we were. I'll add that to the agenda
Okay.
for next time.
Okay.
We wanted to talk about pushing the meeting back a little bit later instead of, like, this time, 4:30 seems to work for everyone versus normally we would start at 3. So I'll put it on the discussion, just that we want to talk about the time, not necessarily that it's set at 4:30.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
For those that are on a schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I still would I get off of work at 4:30 usually, and I still would have to take 30 minutes which is more easier to suggest to my bosses than taking off a whole 2 hours, you know what I mean? So.
Okay, so anybody would like to see, is there a presentation we could look at for the Creek Trail? That you could bring us?
I can look. I'm sure we have a presentation that the consultant did months ago that I can probably dig up for you.
Would you guys be interested in seeing that? Yeah. It's a huge project and it has tons of possibilities for murals. And I know we talked about art 2 years ago before the pandemic to put art, place even sculptures. There's going to be light, seating, landscaping, all kinds of stuff, right? So if you can dig them up, could we have them not the November 14, would you mind? The next one?
The January meeting?
Yeah. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I mean, as long as that doesn't impede any, like timing-wise, you know what I mean?
The project is already moving forward. This will just be informational
It's
for you
really
all.
For us to see what is available for us to, yeah.
Okay. And we would still there would still be a good enough time to make suggestions, I guess, not make suggestions.
For the art, yes.
Okay, good.
For anything else, no.
Yeah.
No, the
Okay,
design,
cool.
yeah. All right, so there's nothing else?
Well, are we gonna do oral communications or?
Oral communications?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking already. No?
No, I mean, those are all future agenda items, right?
Okay, go.
No, I just wanted to mention, we did, so at Del Lago, the high school that I work at, I got an opportunity to go check out the Street Legacy display right before, like literally the day before it was taken down. I think it was that Friday, and we were able to take a lot of our students, our 11th grade students, actually the whole 11th grade class, we were able to, the way the teachers planned it out was super cool because we did the museum first, and then we actually walked all the way to the Municipal Art Gallery, walked through there a little bit, and then we actually met with Tristan. And he was kind of explaining what he's doing for the public art project, and then we were able to walk through the Esco art the art alley, and so we were able to really just kind of show students like, hey, we're really trying to obviously I had my work hat on, but I was still able to explain like the Kenny Scharf mural, why it's so important to have something like that, you know, and that we had a lead actually work with Kenny Scharf. So I was like, hey, we have a hometown person, you know, working on this too, and all the art that's coming up in the city. And I think a lot of the kids were just super excited to see that happening in their community. And yeah, it just, again, it just shows the importance of really involving them and really, you know, gauging the youth to make sure that we're doing stuff for them, essentially, right? Because I think they're the ones that are either going to stay or go, you know, wherever their lives lead them. But they could always come back here and understand that that whatever art is being put out into the public really still attracts them when they come back. So
that's exciting.
It was super cool. It was really, so I just wanted to mention that. And that's.
I think that is fantastic. I was looking at the budget, but we don't have anything for education. We don't. We don't have any money allotted to education.
You know, actually, the way we were able to do it, I guess there's some grants out there that literally all they do is they transport students to different art areas. So we were able to get a grant to pay for the buses to actually come through and do that. So yeah, it was super cool.
And what grade was this?
11th grade.
What is the name of the organization? We've worked with them before. They pay for buses to bring kids.
I don't know the name. That was before my time
yeah.
as the liaison.
I can find out, and I'm sure Sudi has that information.
We used to bring I used to bring my third graders in public transportation. Just take the bus so that they knew, and we did all the tour. It was really cheap. But then the pandemic, and then everything stopped. Anyway, thank you for sharing that. I'm excited that the kids were excited, for sure.
It was super cool.
All right, if nothing else, then we can say the meeting is adjourned at, we all have different time. What time is it?
6:08.
At whatever time it is.
I think you have.
I have 6:05 here.
Oh, I'm there, yeah.